Sarah Mitchell sat alone at the corner table of Rose's cafe, nervously smoothing her cream-colored dress for the 100th time. She was 42 and hadn't been on a blind date in 20 years. Her friend Janet had insisted, "Just meet him, Sarah. What's the worst that could happen?" Now staring at her untouched coffee, she wondered if being stood up was the answer to that question. 30 minutes late. She should have known better. Sarah reached for her purse, ready to leave, when she heard small footsteps approaching. Two identical girls with beautiful curly brown hair stood beside her table. They couldn't have been more than 6 years old. Both wore matching red leather jackets and held hands. The one on the right spoke first. "Are you Sarah?" Sarah blinked in surprise. "Yes, sweetie, I am." The second girl smiled shyly. "Our daddy is really sorry he's late. He asked us to come tell you." Sarah's heart softened immediately. She gestured to the empty chairs. "Would you girls like to sit down?" They climbed up eagerly, their little legs swinging beneath the table. "I'm Emma," said the first girl. "And I'm Lily," said her sister. "We're twins." Sarah couldn't help but smile. "I can see that you're both very beautiful. Where is your daddy?" Emma's expression turned serious. "He's in the parking lot. He's really nervous. He made us come in first to see if you were nice." Lily nodded solemnly. "Daddy said if you were frowning or looked mean, we should come back and get him and leave. But you look nice. You have kind eyes like our mommy used to have." Sarah felt her chest tighten at those last words. "Used to have your mommy." Emma reached across the table and patted Sarah's hand with touching maturity. "Mommy's in heaven now. It's been 2 years. Daddy says she's watching over us." Sarah had to swallow hard. "I'm so sorry, girls. That must be very difficult." Lily shrugged with the resilience only children possess. "We miss her a lot, but Daddy says she would want him to be happy again. That's why he agreed to this date, but he's scared." Sarah looked toward the cafe entrance. "Why don't you go tell your daddy that I'm still here, and I'd very much like to meet him." The girls exchanged glances. Then Emma spoke quietly. "Can we tell you a secret?" "First, of course." Lily leaned in conspiratorially. 3 other ladies left when Daddy was late. They just went away. Daddy saw them through the window. That's why he's so scared. Now he thinks everyone will leave. Sarah felt something crack open in her chest. Some old wall she'd built around her heart after her own divorce 5 years ago. She'd spent so long protecting herself, being cautious, expecting disappointment. But these 2 little girls with their honest eyes and matching jackets reminded her of something she'd forgotten. Sometimes the best things in life require patience. Sometimes being a little late doesn't mean not caring. Sometimes it means caring so much you're terrified. "I'm not going anywhere. Girls, go get your daddy." Emma and Lily scrambled down from their chairs and raced toward the door through the window. Sarah watched them grab the hands of a tall man with dark hair who was pacing near a blue sedan. He knelt down as they spoke to him animatedly. She saw his shoulders relax, saw him take a deep breath when he stood, and the 3 of them walked toward the cafe entrance. Sarah's breath caught. He had the kindest face she'd ever seen. Tired. Yes, worried, absolutely, but good. Deeply good. He opened the door, and the girls pulled him inside. Emma and Lily ran ahead while he approached slowly. Sarah stood. "Hi," she said softly. "I'm Sarah. I'm Michael." He replied, his voice rough with emotion. "I'm so sorry I was late. I dropped the girls at my sister's, but Emma had forgotten her stuffed bunny, and there was a complete meltdown and then traffic, and I should have called, but my phone died." And Sarah held up her hand gently. "Michael, it's okay." He stopped talking and just looked at her. The girls were right. He finally said, "You do have kind eyes." Sarah felt warmth spread through her. "Your daughters are wonderful. They're quite the welcoming committee." Michael laughed, and some of the tension left his face. "That was their idea. I was just going to text and apologize and assume you'd left, but they insisted on checking." He pulled out a chair for her, and they sat. The girls climbed back into their seats, beaming like they'd just orchestrated something magnificent. Over the next hour, Sarah learned that Michael was a high school teacher, that he loved old movies and terrible puns, that he'd been married for 10 years before cancer took his wife Rebecca, that he'd been terrified to start dating again, not because he didn't want companionship, but because he came as a package deal. "These 2," she said, gesturing to Emma and Lily, who were now sharing her chocolate muffin, are not a complication, Michael. They're a blessing. Michael's eyes grew bright. Most women run when they hear I have twin 6-year-olds. Sarah thought of her own life, her quiet apartment, her careful routines, her safe, predictable existence. Maybe I'm tired of running, she said, as the afternoon sun slanted through the cafe windows. Sarah realized something profound. She'd spent 5 years protecting herself from pain, from disappointment, from risk. But these two little girls in their red jackets had walked into her life and reminded her that love isn't safe. It's not predictable. Sometimes it shows up 30 minutes late with an apology and a beautiful broken family that's trying to be whole again. And sometimes, just sometimes, that's exactly what you've been waiting for. All along. Michael reached across the table. His hand hesitated. Then Sarah took it. Emma and Lily grinned at each other. Told you, Daddy. Emma whispered, she's perfect. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment telling us about a time when something unexpected turned into something beautiful. Your story might inspire someone else today.